Up everybody, it's Omar. It is February 18th, 10:22 a.m. in the morning, and I want to make a video building my watch list for tomorrow. Just a quick simple video. I'm going to try to restrict this to no more than 20 minutes. I'll try my best. It's been a long time. I know I haven't done videos, haven't been active much on Twitter. And honestly, I just been working. I just got tired. You get tired of social media, and being on Twitter, honestly guys, it's just like, it's so toxic. And I guess what bothers me most is that I see these gurus, like, you know, just like taking advantage of like newbies, and the newbies just blindly defending them. It's fucking depressing. Like, I can't even watch it. So I just kind of tune out Twitter, to be quite honest with you. But it's interesting, you know, to see what's happened over the last year. Now you go on Twitter, people are talking about using lines. I've been doing this shit before anybody, you know, which is interesting. Now everybody's talking about lines, and I've been mapping lines, you know, well before anybody started doing it. I know that Bao started a service, you know, investing group, whatever. And then, you know, when he started making the video, he started talking about lines. But I mean, he never ever talked about lines ever until he launched the service. You know, I've been talking about this forever. Now people pay more attention to me, like, oh shit, wait a minute, like, you know, people are just like sheep. I've been telling people forever, like, you know, the stuff that I put out is as good as anything you're gonna see, and it's all pretty much everything everybody else is telling you. It's just that since I'm not like a guy who's pushing for popularity on Twitter, and I'm not posting daily P&Ls to try to gain followers, you know, people weren't sure, you know, because people just, they don't, you know, people are just sheep. That's pretty much what it is, unfortunately. Now, you know, if you go to my YouTube, you know, I have a YouTube, and I got countless videos, and, you know, I teach you about all this stuff, you know, and I stopped doing the videos, to be quite honest with you, because I just been busy, and I just been busy and just a little burnt out. So, you know, these videos are really good. Now, what I tell you, what I would suggest, if you're still trying to understand how to map support and resistance, watch this video, how to map your support and resistance. This video is so good, because what I did to prove how stocks bounce off levels is I took Apple, went back 30 days and mapped the support and resistance. So started from 30 days back and came back to present day, and you can see how the stocks would just literally bounce off levels. I mean, I've been talking about this forever, and you know, I got so many good videos. This video, my strategy short after first red day, I mean, this is where you see, you know, guys like Ducks and all these guys. I explained the strategy. I explained how they know how to size in and go after these stocks, you know, because this is the stuff that, you know, Tim Bertani, Steven Ducks, and all these guys do. I explained all this. A good example of this exact strategy, and I got plenty of videos talking about this. Here, another one. I mean, I got so many videos. It's crazy. I got AMRN video. I mean, I got so many of these. I don't understand people, man. I mean, the fact, you know, I don't push this, but if people really watch these videos and really understood what I explained, I should have more followers than any of them, because I'm really giving it to you like in a lot of detail, you know. But I'll give you an example why people were so open on Solo Friday is because of the same. Let me just remove this, just so you know. This is new indicator on Thinkorswim when they did the upgrade called SVE pivots. You use it on the daily. It's actually pretty good, especially for higher price stocks. It maps support and resistance lines. I'm gonna remove it right now though. Come back to it. Let's talk about Solo. Solo goes into that exact strategy that I've been talking about. So I didn't play this, and what you need to know also is that you need to be able to find the shares to short of the stock. You know, when you try to short these stocks, the shares got to be available, and that's a lot of times they don't even tell you this shit. But you already down before you even take the trade because you're paying for the shares. Now, just so you know, this is a stock that was literally 90 cents, and you know, a couple of days later it's at $6. All right, it's up like what, 600%, something crazy like that. Now, this is exactly what I teach, what I told you in this video. So, right, it gaps up all the way to $6, right? So on this day, on Valentine's Day, you know, it spikes, it gaps, you know, drops, gaps up, and craps, right? Closes weak. So the next day is pre-market. Now, just to tell you, on the 14th, that night, I mapped these lines. I didn't take the trade, but look what happens the next day, guys. The stock, you get the morning spike and right into the resistance level. Look, the reason why I mapped 499 is because look, this is where it consolidates, where you got the bounce. You see the line here? See how it just bounced off here before it took off? You see, you got a lot of support here. It would need a lot of volume to break this $5 level, and look what happened the next day. It spikes, reaches that, doesn't have the volume to push through, gets rejected and tanks. And this is what happens. So guys like Ducks and even Will and Cameron say, listen, that kid is a pathological liar, but he's actually been trading with Trade Zero, posting his execution log, which I give him respect for. And even though he lies, his content is excellent. The way he explains why he's going shorts and trading the trend is exactly right. He trades the trend. Gortani trades the trend. Ducks trades the trend. Bao, doesn't trade the trend. What he does is more, he scalps. And the scalping is fine. You can make a shit ton too. There's nothing wrong with scalping. Is what that one thing that he doesn't stress is that you need a direct market access broker. Meaning you need a broker that will take your shares directly to the market in lightning speed. And brokers like Speed Trader, Centerpoint, Cobra, those brokers, they have direct market access, so you get executed super fast. Like a Thinkorswim, an E-Trade, you're not gonna get executed as fast. So scalping is not as easy because of how you get executed. So that's something that you gotta make sure that if you're gonna take that kind of strategy, that you have the kind of broker that executes you fast. All right, but this is what happens. So the stock spikes right into that resistance, overhead resistance level, and then it just tanks, and this is the previous support level that I mapped. All right, so that's all it is, guys. Now watch SAEX tomorrow. It's gonna do the same thing. SAEX is a stock that gaps and craps. Okay, I'll pull up the big chart so you can see. Let me just pull up 1 year. All right, this is a stock that at its peak was at $73. This is one of those low floaters that just rips and dips. But you notice that every time it has a big spike, it tanks. Every time it has a big spike, you see a run up, it gives it all back. So if you look at this, right, it gapped. What do you think it's going to do tomorrow? It's going to crap. Tomorrow, it's going to do the same thing Solo did. What you should expect tomorrow is I remapped my lines, and you can watch the video how I mapped the lines, and I'll just remove this just to do it now for you. All right, so here we go. So I'll just do, a lot of times I'll go back like 90 days just to see where the stock has been, like on a 15-minute time frame or a 30-minute time frame. But obviously this is the height of it on that day, and it bounced here. So if you wanted to, just in case you want to see, okay, let's say if it broke out, which I don't expect it'll do tomorrow. Here's the overhead. This is where it pivoted, so I would map this line here, right? Because this is where you got a lot of consolidation, and you see this was the point where it retraced, right? And then I would probably map the higher day, the highest point over that time. Now if I go back, if I just go back to this day, actually, sorry guys, let me zoom out a little bit just to see if there's any real support in between this. Nope, I don't see any. So right, so this is what you should expect. Now it gapped and it crapped all the way down here to 440, right? So what I would expect, and you see this is kind of where it kind of gapped, and right here you see this volume candles, 1.3 million shares. So you got a lot of overhead resistance. It's gonna need volume to push through here. What you might have is shorts holding, and right now what's happening is they're probably holding, thinking that it's going to come back because it should tank all the way, get back down to, this previous support level, probably get back to like the 380s at some point. Okay, but they're holding to see what's going to happen. So if they don't see it fading, come 7, 8:30, 9, they're going to cover at the open, and you're going to get a spike. And what you're going to do is you're going to get a spike, and let me just zoom back into, let's just do that. What's going to happen is you're going to get a spike, and it's going to spike into one of these levels. So you're going to get all this overhead resistance, and more than possible, it's going to spike back up to this $4.98 level, and they get rejected there and then fade. And what happens is you got short sellers already with orders in these areas waiting for it just to get filled. So they get filled on the way up. That's what I do a lot of times. A lot of times it's like with my E-Trade account, I'll as I see the stock spiking, I already have my short order right like a couple of cents below it. ready to get filled, and I'll take like a starter, and then let's say if it breaks through and keeps running, then I'll cover for the quick loss. But if it holds, I'll add to my position. A lot of times, I try to get the limit, but if it happens too fast, sometimes I have to do a market order, which I don't like to do. But if I know that it's gonna give me back like, give back like 50 cents, I'll chase a little. Maybe I'll get filled at like 489, 490, but I know that it's coming back down at least to retest this 440 level. That's 50 cents. And with a 5,000 share position, which is generally what I, like general size. It's $2,500 right there, boom. But these guys that have big accounts, that have a lot of money, with the big brokers there, or with the direct market access brokers, they take a lot more size, and that's why you see these big wins. So if you're asking why I don't have that size, is because why I don't have that broker is because I can only access E-Trade, and I trade from work when I can. That's another thing. I'm not trading a lot because I've been so busy at work. But that's what it is. So now you're gonna say, well, I'm not a short seller. I like to go long. Well, with what I just told you, what you can do is see how it moves pre-market. If you don't see it ripping, too high on you, you can go long. You can go long. So let's say at the pre-market it's moving like this. You don't see any real action, and you want to risk off 440. You can go long at the open, risk it 440 because you're expecting a spike. And you just reverse engineer it. So you should know what longs are thinking and shorts are thinking. And that's sort of how you do it, So when you build a watch list, guys, you should be going through the largest percentage gainers and losers. So I have videos on this too, just so you know how to build my watch, how to build a watch list. I got all kinds of videos here, watch list build. I mean, just going through showing you how to build watch lists. I got so many fucking videos, and if you go back and start, like I would say from, let's say, March of last year up to now, up to present, like that will really set you up to really understand how to look at stocks, how to map support and resistance levels, how to know when to go long or when to go short, and what are you risking off. That is my suggestion. Now if I'm looking at my stocks, right, so SAEX would be on the watch list for tomorrow. Right, so let's say I'm going to make my watch list for tomorrow. I'm going to go create watch list. I'm just going to do 6 stocks, and then I'm going to stop this video. 2, 19, 11. Oh, I'm sorry, 11, 19. All right, so so you just go through the biggest percentage gainers and losers. If you're looking at FinViz, I got so many videos explaining this over and over and over again. But you just go to screener and you go to all. And then you kind of like pick a criteria. So let's say you want to look for stocks with a minimum of over 1 million shares traded, and maybe you want stocks to start. Let's say you want to start looking at stocks that are a minimum of 10%. See what comes up. This is the volume, and if I click on volume here, it'll filter it. Let's say I want to filter it by the most volume traded to the less. So these are the top 15 stocks that come up, and then I could go to charts, and then you can go to candle. And then you could sort of like look at the candle and look at these stocks to see anything that's really up, to potentially look for a retracement to buy or dip buy off of, to continue to go long, or to short because it's up so much and you want to short. So here's the stock Skies, right? And all this is on Thinkorswim too. Not everybody has the ability to get Thinkorswim, but everybody can get FinViz. That's why I'm short FinViz. So I type Skies, right? So here, Skies is up, wow, from 54 cents to $1.58. This is something that I would look at, right? Because there's a lot of range, so you can expect to have a lot of volatility. All right. Now, some of you guys are, oh, I don't trade these penny stocks. I just trade the big market caps. So then look at the big market caps. Do whatever you want to trade. I trade everything. I don't care. I trade stocks that are under $1. I'll trade stocks that are $300. I don't care. As long as I see an edge, I'll place a trade. So then what I usually do is, like, I look at the stock, right? Yeah, I put up the big chart. I go up, let's say 180 days, see what this stock has done. This stock had this big rip. It had this big pullback. I'm sorry, you should always go back at least 1 year, 2 to see what it's done, right? This is a dog shit company. You see that it's just been on a downward trend, and every time it had pops, give it back. So it's going to give it back. So, if you have the ability to short, I would be looking at potentially short this, So what I do is, let's say I'll go back 5 days, 15 minutes, and I'll look at the areas to map from as my support and resistance levels. Right now, this is to be the key 102 area. All right, it topped out at 158. Okay, and you can see that, you know, on the way up, and it bounced and it found some support here at this 123 level as well. And then if it breaks down, you got some support here and then some support here. It's probably going to head all the way back. Now what you could do is, you know, you can go, and these are the sites that I use: FinViz, Yahoo Finance, OTC Markets, VolumeBot. This is VolumeBot will tell you like the percentage of the stock that's squeezed. So like if I type skies right here, we can see how many of the percentage of the float is being shorted right now. So 55% of the stock was being shorted on the 15th. That's why you got such a squeeze, because a lot of people were trying to short the stock, and you know they kept getting squeezed, so they had to cover. But that's why you got that huge push. So what I would be looking to see come tomorrow is, all right, so right now it's in this price channel. So these are all like, consider all these like different channels, price channels. So you want to see how it's going to react to this one. You know, what is it going to do? Is it going to pre-market? Is it going to break down and break below 102? Is it going to hold it, or is it going to spike and break above 123? But my guess is that it's probably not going to get, you know, maybe it keeps running. I mean, maybe more people try to short it and they can't short it. But you know, this is a stock, it had a lot of volume, 32 million shares. It's gonna need a lot of volume to break through this come Monday, so Tuesday. So if you see the volume not there, you can go short. So let's say if you get, if it starts fading, and let's say it retests 102, and then you see a spike, well, you can go long. If you're just a you know, long bias trader, you can risk off 102. Okay, looking to potentially cover at this 123, because, and if you're a short seller, you would want to see how it reacts to this 123, 125 level, like at this 130 level. At least, you know, risk off the high at least of 144, or, you know, this is kind of where it pivoted. That's why it's mapped here, you know, 144, 150 level, because what should happen is that it should test this, doesn't get enough volume to push, and then just break down, and then you can short risk it off that. But you know, so that's what you do. You map your levels to potentially see where you can want to go long. So let's say if it broke above 123, it pulls back, it kind of consolidates and holds, and you see volume coming in, you can go long, risking off 123 or the 102 level, you know. But if I'm going to go long here, I need to see a lot of volume, because this is a dog shit company. You know, eventually it's going to go back to nothing. I mean, I don't know. It probably has some news. I'm more of a technical trader. I don't really check the news, but we can type in the news and see SKYS, guys, to see what comes up. And when we type, oh, I put Sky, SKYS, Skies, here we go. Solar Holdings. So what happened here? Recent developments under the Hudson Note Purchase Agreement and Director Resignation. I don't even know. I'm trying to see. Announces general meeting results. A global developer operator of solar parks today announced the result of his annual meeting. I don't know. I don't see anything. I don't see anything incredible here that caused the stock to run. I'm not gonna really go into, you know, looking at it so deeply, but something caused this to spike. It was probably, you know, definitely some news or something. So you know, so that's how you play it. But I would be short biased on this too. That's where the trend, overall trend, is gonna be going long and going short. And I think that trading the trend more than scalping it will return you bigger profits, in my personal opinion. But there's nothing wrong with scalping. There's nothing wrong with scalping at all. So this is what I'm looking for. Overall, I'm bearish, but if you got the volume and it went long, and especially if it broke 123 and holds, and yo, risk off it and just take it for a ride. You know, see how it reacts to the volume. The volume comes in, just take it long. Just be careful that, you know, right up in this, you know, 150 level, it could potentially, you know, I would be looking to cover up at 158 level, you know, at the high. See how it reacts, you know, take some off. Remember, secure some profit and then see how it reacts. So that's something to think about. All right, so that's what I think about Skies. So I map Skies, SKYS. And then, you know, you can just look for a couple of other stocks. So I promise I didn't want to make this too long. But here's some other big, like, look at TEUM. It's just been on this crazy upward trend. IVC, Yuma, Sun Fund. This is a stock that I've traded before. So these are CFMS. I like there's a big candle here, and TEUM had some big candles. Look at TEUM. All right, real quick, TEUM. Yeah, look at this. I mean, this went from 329 to 376, so it does have a little bit of range. I mean, it's just been on this crazy upward trend, right? So then, you know, you could look at the news, you can look to see what the stock has done. I'm not gonna look at it. You could just look at yourself to see, hey, maybe this is a stock that's moving because there's some valid news, and you know, it's a company on the upswing. I don't know, but it broke its yearly high. So 358 was the last, you know, was the high here. Actually, was to say, yeah, 359, and it broke. So it's a yearly breakout. So it's a, you know, so that's positive. So what I would be doing then is I would be looking at TOM to see how it's gonna react, right? I would map this 376 level, right? Because that's the high. The breakout level, which is 359, and then I would look at to see what previous support would be, like kind of right in this area. There's some support, and then but the big support to me here is this 341 level. You know, so I would be looking to see it. Is it gonna wash, right? Is it gonna wash tomorrow, pull back, find support maybe, let's say at this 340 level, and then just rip and just break new highs and keep running? I mean, this is a potential, you know, long. You know, maybe, you know, at the open there'll be some profit taken. So, you know, you can, you know, if you want it, let's say it just kind of trades in this range and it breaks down at the open, you can risk off 376 and take it for a quick short and look to cover at 341 or 320, you know, this other potential level 329. Now, what I'll tell you is this, guys. A lot of times when I'm in a short position, so let's say I would short here, I already got my cover order already set. That keeps me disciplined and it helps me take profit. Sometimes, you know, people just hold to see, but I'd rather just take profit. So that's a big thing, especially with E-Trade, because, you know, the fills are not as good as, you know, a direct market access broker. I have to be quick and I want to be disciplined. So that's something to think about. So I would put this on the watch list just because it got, you know, a lot of volume. So it got 7 million volume for that day, but it's been averaging 1.7 million. So you got an increase in volume. Maybe you're gonna get another increase because people say, oh wow, this thing broke out, you know, and it's kind of holding. It didn't break the previous day's high. It's kind of holding strong. So I think this has the potential to go higher. So what you want to do also, folks, is you want to go on the yearly time frame. So let's say I go like 5 years and see where's the next level of resistance above. That's important because, you know, that's where you can get stuffed and then maybe it fades. So the next resistance level above is 4. So that would be my potential target, is $4 if I went long here. You know, on a pullback, I would hold to see if it's gonna retest that $4 level. But 555 over the last 5 years is the highest it's been. So, you know, 550 I mean. So that's something to think about if you wanna take this long. All right. And this is more of a safer trade. You know, this is not a stock that has a lot of range generally, but it did on last Friday, and the Dow futures look really big, so everything might move tomorrow. So put it on the watch list. You lose nothing by putting a stock on a watch list. All right, so let me look at one more, and I'm doing this like half-ass. Like normally I take more time, be much more disciplined, look through more tickers, but I just want to show you. The other one that I want to look at was let's see, CFMS. Let's look at CFMS. CFMS. All right, so this is a stock that, you know, has been on this crazy downward trend, and now it's been up since 35. It's up to 126, so it's ripping and moving. It's increasing volume over the last 5 days. It's been trading over 733,000 shares. Now it's at 3.9 million shares traded on Friday. So I would be, just to see, I would be doing this. I would map my support resistance level. So obviously I would map that 140. And then it pulled back, and I like this level here because this is sort of where it pulled back and it bounced. So it came here, found some support, didn't really hold too well, got back up, and it's kind of here at this 129 level, and then, you know, you got some support down here at this 110 level. Now I would see again what it's gonna do in the open. So maybe it pulls back, all the way to 110. You know, it's 109 level. Actually, yeah, 110 level. I put 109, but it's 110. If it holds, you know, and value comes in, you can take it long because it's on an upward trend. But remember, you're gonna have a profit taking day, so you expect a day, but that people are gonna, you know, it's gonna pull back because people are gonna take profit. But see how it reacts. I mean, the volume keeps increasing. So if we just go back 1 year, you know, we're just looking, we're seeing, right, each day, you know, the volume continues to increase. but it does have a gap to fill, so you know, below, so it may retest this $1 level. I don't know, maybe tomorrow it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But just because, but you see that this stock is on an upward trend and the momentum continues to grind. So you know, it's had some days where it's pulled back, like this day it hit to 76 and it dropped down to 66, and it consolidated and it dropped down all the way to 62. But this was like a previous support level, as you can see here. You know, it's like previous support, and it kind of held, and then it just took off. So even on an upward trend, guys, stocks always have a pullback, but you know, you're risking off a support. So let's say you see it pull back here, you're like, all right, so I'm gonna risk off the previous support of 84, or maybe I'm gonna risk off 78 or 74. You know, it's what your tolerance is. So this thing, but it continues to go. And again, if you want to see if there's a lot of people in this, if you type the ticker CFMS, and then you go down to see, scroll down to the volume, 56% of this is short. So right, I got the right ticker. Yeah, so there's a lot of people shorting this stock, so they may get squeezed, and this may continue to run. So I would be, you know, look to see. All right. Now, if it does break out tomorrow, this is, and anybody who's been really following me for a long time knows how I feel about breakouts. You never buy the breakout, guys. You let the breakout happen. You want to see it pull back and retest that level. And if you see it hold and you see buyers come in, you see a wall of buyers, you see the volume starting to come in, that is when you take the opportunity to go long, because you want to see it test. You don't want to just chase breakouts, because then they're fake outs and then they tank. All right. But to me, I would be, if I was gonna go long this, I would like to go long off the 129 level. If like I saw it like pull back, find some support and break. Well, obviously if it pulled back to 117 held, I would go at 117 and then risk off to see how it reacts to 129. If it held 129 and kept going, then I risk off the 140. That's kind of how I like to, you know, look at things. But it's been on this crazy upward trend. See what's making it move. I have no clue, but you know, something is making it move. So these are low penny stocks. I picked these, and you know, they were just, you know, I like the charts, so I'm looking at you know, I just picked them because I just like the charts. Now you can also do the same thing on the opposite side, which a lot of people don't talk about either. So let's say I'm looking at stocks that are up over 10% with a 1 million. Let's say I do the opposite, down 10%. And you can look at stocks, and you got some nice ones here, like a Mattel. I'm gonna use this one. Like ADO, it's just so cheap. Like under $1, like these stocks are not worth looking at. Only if you're looking to swing long because you think they may have found the bottom. But a stock like Mattel, the reason why I would look at a stock like this is because look at this run, and then it had this huge red candle, and it has a gap to fill below. So I would think that because it did that, and this is the last stock that I'll use, and then I'll end the video with this. Here's Mattel, right? Mattel, I'll pull up the 1 year just so you see, has been on, it found the bottom at 909. Let me zoom out. This is a stock that was as high as $17, and you see every time it has a run, it gives it all back, right? And it went down to $9, and it gapped up all the way to $17.24, and then it tanked. Now I know that the news, there was some guidance here, and that's why the stock tanked. Now look, this stock has a gap to fill here at 1280. So my guess is that it may retest it, but tomorrow the market looks, the futures looks really bullish. I mean, it looks like tomorrow may be a big green day potentially. So you just got to be careful. Now I love to trade these stocks as well, because you know, you trade the trend and you think, all right, it's probably not gonna, hasn't found the bottom, probably has more to give. So what I usually do on a stock like this is I'll look on that technical, I'll map the daily lines on that day. So I would map that 1479. I would map this candle right here, which is the bottom of this candle, because this is 4 million shares, so it's gonna need some volume to break this 1433 level. I mapped 1432. I put 1433. And guys, people ask me like how I get these lines. I got videos on this too. But if you just go to drawings and you pick, like, let's say price line here, and you put this, the reason why this comes out like this is if you right click on it, all I do is I extend it left and right, and then it says show price on left. That's all I did. and you know, you set a color and the style and the width, and you just save that as the default, and that's my default. That's why it defaults the way it does, just so you know. And Google, guys, stop, you know, you live in the greatest information age in the history of the world. Like, use Google, like Google it. So here, so it found its bottom at 1373. Now I think tomorrow this may continue to break down. Now, what I like to see, I don't like to short breakdowns. Generally, I don't. But let's say if it does break down tomorrow, what you want to see is let it break down, wait for the pop, wait for it to spike, and see how it reacts to the spike. So just like I don't like buying breakouts, I don't like shorting breakdowns. What I usually like to see is the breakdown happen and then a retest, like a pop up, and see how it reacts to that level of resistance. And if it can't hold, then I short off it. You know, because sometimes what happens is people short the breakdown and then it just rips on you. So you don't want that to happen. You want it to test. Otherwise, you don't trade it. That's the key to the key to this game is discipline. You gotta stay disciplined. Otherwise, you're gonna get killed fast. So I would look to see how it reacts to these lines. Now, what you want to see is what's the next level of support below if it breaks down, right? So I'm gonna do 180 days on the 4-hour time frame. So just so you can see, if it breaks down, the next level of support here, in my opinion, is, well, in theory, this would be the next level of support right here at this 1310 level, and then the next level of support below that would be this 1276 level, and then right here the 1198. It would be the next very, very critical level of support. So these are the levels of support below. You got to know potentially what you want to cover if it breaks down. So it's important to have these mapped, or if you get in a trade, you pull up the bigger time frame and find, all right, what's the next level of support, so that I know where I could potentially cover. So Mattel looks to me nice for a short tomorrow. Take a look and see how, and it's a big market cap, but who cares? You just trading off support and resistance, guys. All right, so I'm just gonna end the video here so I don't make it too long. I hope this makes sense. I'm gonna get back to making more videos. I'm gonna try to like sexify this, my channel. I'm gonna really focus on YouTube with an intro and, you know, kind of do all that kind of cool stuff, and maybe try to grow the page in more time. I'll try to even capture a couple of live trades at some point, but remember, I trade from work, so you know, it's super stressful. I'm not even supposed to be trading, so I'll figure that out, or capture some trades from home. I'll figure some out and post them so that you can see my rationale when in trade, guys. So a couple of things real quick before I end. Just remember, these gurus are all full of shit. They're all lying. None of them are posting. Listen, this is one thing I want to tell you about all these gurus. Now, I'm not against you going into a room and learning, but take, you know, learn what you need to learn and get the fuck out, because most of these guys are full of shit. You know, what you got to know is this: why is it that the people in the room have no problems posting their trades with their execution logs, their shares, and the gurus never do? The gurus never tell you what their shares is, when they get in, when they get out. They never post that, and they even lie. They'll say like they share they do a share screen, but they do a share screen of this, the chart. They're not showing you the executions. They're not showing you how many shares they're taking. They don't tell you that. Most of these guys are not trading. I'm telling you guys. Or most of these guys are betting against their rooms, or they're getting in the rooms and they're front running the stock, and then you buy and they sell into you buying. I mean, they're doing all kinds of grimy shit. So if you want my advice on like who I think is reputable, I would say I know a lot of people give him shit. He's eccentric. Yes, he's odd. But I do think that he really does teach people how to trade the conventional, like how to conventionally trade. Is My Investing Club. I think that they are traders. Like, these are guys who are actually trading. They're making money from trading. Like, and you know, they're real traders, and they give you like, they at least teach you conventional trading and how to look at charts and how to, with support and resistance, like I teach. Honestly, my videos give you all the same shit you're gonna learn in all these rooms. But you know, if you feel like you need more guidance, that's probably who I think, from what I see, maybe the most honest. Stay away from Ducks. He's a fucking fraud. That kid is a fucking scam artist. Stay away from Trick Trades. That guy is horrible. He's a fucking scam artist. That guy's not trading. There's a lot of these guys. Stay away from them. They're horrible. Stay away from Warrior Trading. Just get your information from the YouTube videos. Do not go in these rooms, guys. These guys are frauds. Stay away from Tim Sykes. He's not teaching you shit. You know, that guy's, he's not teaching anything. You know, these guys are really not teaching anything. So you know, just be careful. All right. Anyway, with that said, hope you found this helpful. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment, and you know, and if you're in these rooms, you know, let me know what you're experiencing. I'm only telling you this based on what I know from what people have shared with me. All right. So anyway, enjoy your day, and you know, let me know what you think. Have a great day.